Okay. Greetings, everyone. Good evening, and I am very. I think just people supposed to say English. Yes. Okay. I'm just happy to be here at home, and this is my first time coming here to Ghana, and this is my first time speaking to a group of people at home in Ghana. So thank you for having us. This is my husband. My name is Rwanda. This is Macheo, and we work with the African Women's Charity Organization. It started in 2000. We met with the women of Angola who had OMA, have 1.5 million women in their organization, and we asked them what would it take, what do we need to do to build an organization that's like that in the U.S. at first, you know. So they suggested that we build a women's movement in the United States to connect with the women's movement in Africa. And this women's movement is about bringing together women and youth all over outside of Africa to connect with women and youth in Africa so that we can become independent, unified, and self-sufficient. Because we have enough resources to take care of all of our people, but if we're still suffering, then we need to come together so that we can use the resources to uplift all the people.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank the people of Ghana for producing our leader and our president, Kwame Nkrumah. Because it's said that we're from America, but we are Africans. Make that we're clear on that. We're Africans, and we were trained indirectly by the African Revolution, in which Kwame Nkrumah was the leader of. So he trained us. So we thank Ghana, and we're glad to be here in terms of that. In fact, I was just saying in the car, when the enemies of Africa and the CIA, the enemies of Ghana and Africa and the CIA overthrew Nkrumah in 1966, and Nkrumah went to Guinea, and they had a big they had a rally, where Nkrumah was in Guinea, and Sekou Touré was talking to the people, and Sekou Touré told the people, the enemies of Africa have overthrown Nkrumah in Ghana. But what the enemies didn't know, that Nkrumah is not just the president of Ghana, he's the president of Africa.
I love for that.
And he said, and he told the people that from now on, Nkrumah is the president of Guinea. It was the first time in history that anybody had said that somebody else is the president, even though they had elected President Touré. That's how strong Nkrumah was. And then Nkrumah later on told the people, no, I will be co-president with the president with Sekou Touré. That's to let everybody know that Nkrumah was the president of the whole African world. We come to talk in our conference here. We come to talk about the importance of self-reliance. Self-reliance is important. We as Africans, we go all around the world begging other people for something that we need to do for ourselves. There's no dignity in begging. If we can do anything any other human beings can do. So it's no reason for us to think that somebody's going to come from somewhere else, give us a bunch of money, and then somehow we're going to develop ourselves. The only way that we're going to develop Africa is for us, is hard work by Africans. And no amount of begging the enemy is going to offset that. I want to say to the youth, I'm glad you're here because you're so important. What we need, you have a very important job to do. Your job, for instance, Nkrumah taught us that in the Sudan, if the Sudan was organized in modern technology to farm, the Sudan can feed the whole world. In the Congo has enough water power to electrify all of Africa. It is going to be the responsibility of the youth. When you go to school, if you don't just go to school just to get a job and just to try to live in a nice house. If you're going to be a teacher, think about being a teacher for all the teachers of Africa. If you're thinking about being an electrician, think about teaching all the electricians of Africa. If you think big, you will be a much better student than if you think it's small. One of the things is that colonialism has had an effect on us is that now we think small. And because we think small, we're unable to solve our problems. And the reason that we're unable to solve our problems is because we try to solve our problems. Every individual tries to solve their problem by themselves. We can never solve our problems individually. We have to solve our problems together. We got our problems together. We have to solve them together. And one of the things that we will encourage, we encourage collective, building collectives. For instance, we need to have collective kitchens, where instead of every woman is cooking for her family, we need to have a community place where the whole community can come and eat. And we need to free up the women. We need to have collective child care where the women can bring their children and can have a break in terms of their children and in terms of people taking care of their children. Because if we are not going to be free without the liberation of our women. This is the most important thing, I think, among us. Because men oppress women. African men oppress African women. So if African men oppress African women, the enemy can be gone and we'll still be oppressed by our own hand. And until we solve that problem, we will never be free. We will never be free. And anybody who's an oppressor and who is an exploiter needs to be fought. One of the things that I am so ashamed of, I am ashamed of the way of the Africans who are born in the United States come to Africa, live in Africa, and then they come and act like they're better than people of Africa. As far as I'm concerned, they need to be put out. If I come here as an African, I'm not an African American, I'm not nothing American, I'm African. Yeah.